times than any other team, with the Bills being the closest. Both teams had converted 87% of their attempts, get why they keep doing it, while the rest of the NFL sits at just 71%. Shay, do you like the attempt to get the tush-push banned? Or is this a soft move?
Everybody can't run it, Stephen A., because everybody doesn't have a quarterback that can squat 600 pounds. And everybody doesn't have an offensive line that go Malata, Dickerson, Jurgensen, and you go Mekhi Becton, and you got Lane Johnson, average about 6'6", about 330. So everybody can't run it like that. And because everybody can't run it, let's outlaw it. No, y'all find a way to stop it. We just can't start outlawing things that no one else can do. Okay, fine. Y'all do it. Go get your quarterback. How much you squat, son? You got to be able to squat at least 500 pounds in order for me to draft you at quarterback, because we're going to institute the tush push. No, don't shut this play down because nobody else can do it to the level of efficiency that the Eagles can. Defense, hey, that's your job. That's your assignment. This is your mission should you choose to accept it. Stop the tush push on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1.
Shannon, I don't disagree with you. I just need an education from you. I know that when you look at Jalen Hurts squatting 600 pounds, he's going behind Jordan Mailata, who's at, 365 pounds, Molly, right?
Pounds?
And then Landon Dickerson, who's at 332 pounds. So I get it, right? Here's my question to you, Shannon. Do you have a problem with how teams are limited when it comes to trying to block a field goal? And stuff like that. You see some rules, like I remember Ray Lewis complaining about it. That's why it popped in my head. He's complaining about how the defenses are limited, but it seems like the offense is allowed to get away with things that defenses would never be allowed to get away with. I don't know all the rules that he was talking about, but that's why I'm asking you, Shannon.
Well, the thing is that you cannot line up head up at the center, because on field goals and punt, he's in a vulnerable situation. So now he's got his head between his legs, and guys were teeing off on that guy. And so they wanted to protect that guy. In this situation, all it is that mano a mano. We feel that we're going to get lower leverage. We're going to out-leverage you, and our quarterback is going to drive with his legs. Now, if you want to say they're gaining an advantage, Stephen A., because they're pushing, and it used to be you couldn't do that. It was called aiding the runner. But now you can push, you just can't pull. And so I don't really see the advantage other than having an outstanding offensive line and a quarterback that's very strong in his lower extremities.
Shannon, I just have to ask a question. 600 pounds, and I'm sure you can squat a ridiculous amount. Isn't that dangerous for a guy?
Never that.
Hold on. But isn't that dangerous for a guy's back? I feel like putting all that weight on. 600 pounds?
It is. I mean, but, Jalen Hurts trains like this because he feels it gives him an advantage. His legs are, and it's helped him. That's a lot of weight for a guy that has a frame like that. No, Molly, I couldn't squat 600. The most I ever squatted was like 565. That was pretty good for me. I'm a long-limbed guy. So.
Basically 600. But
the man just said the most
he's like, oh, my God.
The man just said the most he ever squatted was 565 pounds. You see how ordinarily he just said that?
I know.
It's 565 pounds. That's all I did.
Shannon, if I have a 45 on each side, I feel good about myself. All right, guys, Luka plays his former team tonight when...
So this is where this tush-push debate is fascinating. CC is saying, they should outlaw it, and gave the reasons, and the reasons basically, in kind of a summary, it's already illegal. Like, that's my big takeaway, is that you're saying based on the rules, it's already illegal, and it's already countering what they're saying the defense cannot do. Why are they letting the offense do it? Right? It's some of the reasons you gave. Smalls.
Well, hold on. Let me say.
Go ahead.
Second of all, competitive fairness. The defense can't have linebackers and safeties pushing them into the line of scrimmage to get an advantage. So there's that aspect of it. There is the health and safety concern, and then there's the overall entertainment value, because nobody wants a repeat of what we saw at the end of the third quarter, but beginning of the fourth quarter in the NFC Championship game. Those are the reasons, and I think they're pretty solid reasons. So beyond just calling it soft or calling somebody a coward, because a lot of people are throwing these things around, I just think we have to look at the game and ask ourselves, is this what we want? There have been plenty of football coaches to come out and cite health and safety concerns, and beyond that, state that it's not a football play. It doesn't look like a football play. So I do think those are legitimate concerns that the NFL should have when discussing whether or not they should ban this particular play.
But Smalls, you rightfully pointed out, everything that CC's saying is not exactly what they're trying to overturn. While that may be the case and it may be an argument to be made, that's not what the league is looking into, it doesn't seem like.
No, at least from the outside, everything that Cece said isn't the way that I interpreted them wanting to ban this. It doesn't have to do with health and safety. It doesn't have to do with the entertainment value. It doesn't have to do with the pre-existing rules. Maybe it does, but from the outside, just observing, it feels like one team who won the Super Bowl is so good at this particular play that no team can stop it. And no other team, based on their personnel, can execute it to the same clip that the Eagles can.
So your point is it is too successful for the league to continue, is what you believe they're looking into?
Yes.
Okay, so question on this. Are they going to eliminate the extra point?
I doubt it.
The extra point.
But they've changed the extra point.
They have, but here's the problem. The Eagles' tush push was converted at an 88% rate this year. If you combine the Eagles and the Bills, it was converted at an 87% rate. The extra point, which is incredibly boring, right? Not entertaining at all in any way, shape, or form, was converted at a 96% rate this year. So this is where the league, I think, is going to have to defend themselves if they are to ban this as to why this and not other things that potentially could be listed under the same umbrella as this. It's not entertaining. There's plays for injury. Like, there's a lot of other plays that potentially could cause injury. I'm not saying, Cece, you're wrong, obviously, on anything you're presenting here. I'm saying there would be other things that would fall under those categories across the NFL that then also would be up for banning.
Yeah, but they just changed the extra point rule. Rather than kicking it from the 2-yard line, you have to kick it from the 15. They literally just changed that.
And it's still significantly more successful?
I'm not saying that it's not significantly more successful with a higher rate of conversion. What I am acknowledging is that they thought enough of it to change it because it was so mundane. And it's from an entertainment value perspective, it does present an issue because of what we saw in the conference championship game with the Washington Commanders. The value proposition of being penalized half the distance to the goal line is not enough of a deterrent to stop teams from trying to jump the snap to stop the tush push. But even beyond that, if we want to just get to competitive fairness, the NFL banned defensive linemen from being pushed into the line of scrimmage in an attempt to block kicks and extra points. How is this not the same thing? No one can answer that question because it is. And so if you're not going to let defensive linemen do it, why are we letting offensive players do it?
Pat Costello, you are an Eagles fan. I'm curious how you feel about this, considering it really is only about your team.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous to want this banned. It's absolutely ridiculous. Every team in the league could run this if they want, but they try and they fail.
Right.
So why are we banning it just because it's the Eagles? Because there's a rule in place that they haven't enforced, but they're going to start enforcing it. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, that's the one part that's not really debatable, right, Pat? Like the rule part that CC brought up, not the defensive rule, the offensive rule, is the part that's not really debatable as to whether or not they should be allowed to do it. But again, I'm very confused as to if this is a black and white rule that CC presented that states the offense is actually not allowed to do this. Why would the NFL allow this to go on for 2 years then, breaking rules? That's the thing I don't understand with all of this. Are we misinterpreting the rule then?
No, it's not. We're not misinterpreting the rule. It's spelled out in black and white.
Well, can you read it again, that Rule 12 or whatever you found there?
Okay, so it's Rule 12 under Player Conduct, Article 4, and it's called interlocking interference. And what it states is that no offensive player, let me make sure I read this correctly, no offensive player can lift the runner to his feet, pull him in any direction, or use their body, use their hands to grasp or push or encircle a teammate in order to obstruct the opponent. That's what the rule states.